Hey, Mac. See you next year.
Oh, there he is. There he is. I mean, at least it's fair that you are a dad, so you can make dad jokes. I don't particularly care for him, but I get it. I understand it.
Goo year, goo me, goo wanty 26. No, take that back. 2020. I can't. I'll goo's in there somewhere.
Sure.
But let me tell you this. We are in the goo year, and we have so much fun ahead of us. This episode, a little bit later than what you might be expecting, but once it's out, no time stamping. Don't worry about that. Mac, let me tell you about my goo year's day.
Okay. Do tell.
I sneezed, and then I
All
couldn't
right.
move for 5 minutes.
There you go. You need an appointment with the doctor.
My body clenched up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what happens in old age here, Goo. You know, sometimes you do a little bend over, a little twist at an angle, and you're like, oh, I'm going to sit down now for a couple hours.
Well, you know me. I'm Italian. I sneeze hard.
Achoo!
I was sitting on the couch after folding laundry for 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't know what to do. Do I die here?
Do I call 911?
I took my legs and I pulled myself off the couch to just splat myself on the floor. And then because I could still kind of control my legs, I propped myself up like an inflatable arm flailing tube man. And then with the straight arms and shoulders, kind of waddled around until I got into the shower and put hot water on my back.
There you go. I have a little thing called the brand is Chirp. It's a little wheel that is like a foam roller for your back, except it's like this wide, and it has a little channel in the middle for your spine to sit in, and it really gets into that, right next to the spine muscles, and man, it hurts so good. It's really good, really, really good.
I thought for a minute there, monsters were on this earth. Also on New Year's Day, and usually I don't pay any attention to fortune cookies.
Mm-hmm.
But, celebrating the new year, you get the Kowloon, and I opened my fortune cookie, and my fortune cookie actually started on New Year's Day. I'm not lying. Don't think I'm fibbing. It said this year, and I'm, all right. You have my attention.
Mm-hmm.
New Year's Day this year. Face your fears, and you will achieve your goals.
Okay, so what are your fears?
So my fear is not having some kind of a financial stability for my family.
Sure.
And my goal is to make more money.
Mm-hmm.
So do I need to quit my job to then make more money?
I think if that's your fear, fine. Otherwise, spend the rest of the winter figuring out your fears.
Mm-hmm.
Develop a plan in the spring, implement it in the summer, and then you have the whole second half of the year to really flourish.
One goo, three, yeah! Goo. Jaws 3. Goo. King of Queens. Goo. Meryl Streep. Goo. Entertainment.
I'm Goo.
And I'm Mac.
And this is the Mac and Goo program. For one final time, this might be it. We're talking Stranger Things.
Yeah, this has been a program, 9.5 years on the airs. The whole run of Mac and Goo has you basically come in the same time frame as
We
Stranger
each have
Things.
42 episodes.
This has been a long time coming, not only from the beginning of the series in 2016, but also season 4 from 2020.
I will say this, is we mocked them for how they decided to release this final season. Yet, here we are. We're the dopes who have talked about it 3 times now.
Goo, I'm glad you brought up the release schedule. This has got to be the worst possible release schedule for anything ever. First and foremost, the 2 batches and a finale is fucking stupid because you lose the novelty of the week-to-week viewing that the great television shows of the past have, and you also get no benefit of the stream forgiveness when all of the episodes are released at once, especially when you make us wait a month for volume 2 that didn't move our story along. So they shot themselves in the foot.
I was thinking to myself after the finale, did we need volume 2?
And moreover, Goo, we got 3 volumes, right? We really got 4th volumes in the form of a stage play in London and New York that is really a part of, it's a prologue to this season. We get an epilogue at the end of the season.
Yeah.
And the play's a prologue for this season. And that is the worst decision anyone's ever made for a show or a movie of this caliber, on this level, of this popularity. Like, the more I think about that stage play being so meaningful in rounding out the big bad villain that they've been teasing for 4 seasons, the more I hate it. Because what we get left with here in season 5 and what happens in this finale, will be spoiler free for a few minutes, really like leans on the bad guy choosing to be a bad guy. And apparently in that play, we get basically his background, his story, how he came to be. And I don't know, man. That's so dumb. And
it's weird. And we talk about this with other movies of show, don't tell.
Yeah.
This is the weirdest tell, don't show of all time, where it isn't just a director or a writer saying, well, we have a deleted scene of this, or we have this. There's a whole story that some have seen, but most of you haven't.
And to now triple down on this, so release schedule bad, play bad. The third factor here, the dates on which they decided to release these things: New Year's, Christmas, and Thanksgiving. 3 holidays where people are busy doing shit.
Well, not me.
Like, that in and of itself was fucking dumb too. Like, I can't, most people do, and I'm not saying all, most spend the holidays with their family members or friends. And I'm not going to ruin my holiday to watch a show. I'm just not going to do it. Why would you not release it the week or two before those? So the conversation at these massive holidays where your audience is probably talking about the show anyways, will build up more, anticipation of stuff, instead of like, did you watch it? No, I didn't, because it came out 2 hours ago and now I'm here. So I think everything surrounding this final season has been an abject disaster.
I feel like you should have delayed all of your holiday parties until after the 4 hours, 3 hours, and 2 hours.
Now, I say all that, Goo, and I hated everything that I just mentioned. I feel like they didn't butcher the season the way people are making it out to be. All contextually,
yes,
this has been a nightmare for sure. But I don't think this is nearly on the level of all-time bad finales or final seasons. No. In fact, I think I liked most of what we got. I don't think they crushed it.
No, I think they played everything safely, where it's not polarizing like a lot of other finales where you say, oh, that kind of ruins the entire show, or that pulls a thread in the rest of the show that makes you question other things. This show does that in a way of some of the writing or some of the acting might be at a level that then you say, has it always been like this?
Sure.
But it isn't like Roseanne, where you find out that Dan has been dead for a year and they didn't win the lottery. Right?
No. And there are some people, I think, not some people, there are trolls on the internet suggesting this is like Game of Thrones.
No.
Like that. It's not remotely in
They
that
didn't take enough
vein.
chances to do that.
Sure. And because they took their time, unlike Game of Thrones, they could think through some things.
The pacing in this, it's weird, where it does kind of feel rushed, but also people are taking their sweet time.
Yeah,
the beats are a bit off.
That's the imperfect part of
Yes.
this whole season, is we bought in so heavily to the idea of this show and these the characters we've been getting for 4 seasons coming into this one. And then because the actors kind of got old, the characters that we bought into kind of had to change. And on top of that, they've introduced so many characters in this show over the years.
It's an army.
That no one character really was able to shine or get their,
Yeah.
this was Will's season for sure. But the characters we know and loved, like Lucas and Max, like barely a part of this season.
And
Max plays a lot.
Max also is one of the main reasons why season 4 is so good.
Right. And of course she's helping Holly in the Abyss, but Max doing stuff on her own doesn't really happen. So it lost that along the way. And most of the characters they introduced were good, but they're just so widespread at this point that it was really hard to be emotionally grabbed by anything.
I mentioned this in fucking volume 2. Once again, we've talked about this so many times. It was too much because there were so many characters and there weren't enough lines to go around. People were sharing lines and finishing each other's sandwiches.
Yeah.
Constantly.
So, now that I've had more time removed from the first 2 volumes and, a day after the finale has come out and now being able to reflect on the other 2 volumes with how it ended, I'm not upset with what we got. I think I liked this. I know I liked the season. I'm just irritated the way it was force-fed to us, if that makes sense.
I'm lower on the season than you, but when talking specifically about the finale, and this might be something against it, I thought it was fine, which that might not be the best thing.
Part of that, Goo, is because the other 4 seasons, you know what, I don't know how long season 4 ended up being, but these were 40 minutes to an hour-long episodes, 8 episodes. This, we got like 12 hours of
season
content.
4 was also really long episodes, too.
Okay, but so instead of getting the 8 best, edited down hours of the program, of the season, of the story, we got everything they wanted to give us.
I'm seeing people on the internet complaining that, there is some kind of a director's cut that should be in volume 2 that people chopped out. There's enough stuff in there.
Yeah, there's too much stuff in here.
If
And
anything,
also not enough.
I would hand that to someone else and say, can you cut these down to 40 minutes each?
It's just really interesting. And on top of it, Goo, the finale was also released in theaters nationwide.
$25 million.
They made $25 million.
No, Netflix didn't make any of it.
Mm-hmm.
Theaters made all the money.
Yeah, that's kind of neat. That's neat. So I do like that. Once again, Volume 1 was released the day before Thanksgiving. Volume 2 released on Christmas. Series debuted in the summer of 2016. And Season 4 was in the spring-summer of 2022. So I am okay with people feeling strongly about it, whether they hated it or loved it.
Oh, do whatever you want. I don't care about that.
Because they've spent 9 years with the show. That makes sense to me.
No, we spent a lot of years with it, but there's only so many episodes.
Yeah, true.
What is this, a British comedy?
Goo, Stranger Things, Volume 5, Season 5, whatever you want to call it. Stranger Things 5 is a TVMA drama, horror, mystery thriller, and sci-fi. We're also playing with coming-of-age, dark fantasy epic, monster horror, psychological drama, sci-fi epic, supernatural fantasy, supernatural horror, teen horror. What I will say about this, when we got into the Abyss in the finale, it looked pretty cool. I liked operating there.
I thought it looked better in the finale than it did in any of the other episodes, like whenever they kind of teased anything.
Which they knew they had to be of the utmost quality because it was hitting the big screen.
Also, as you add more to this, add more layers, add more of more complications to what this Upside Down, what this Abyss, what this Generation X, is that what they're calling it?
No, it was Dimension X.
Dimension X. As you add more and more to it, I just decided every single time that whenever I'm like, they're adding more to this, I didn't think about it and just moved past it.
Yeah, no, that's fair too, because they never really defined it, so I guess anything was possible.
Kevin Garnett.
But to that point, I do think the writing's pretty inconsistent in this season. And also, they can claim all they want that they had the ending planned out since season 1.
No, they didn't.
That's what they claim.
I'm telling you, they didn't.
I think they may have. The problem is they didn't have the meat.
Well, they
had the bread. They didn't know what the meat was going to be.
They added the clock noise.
So they connected. They connected the beginning and the end with stuff that they hadn't written out.
Yeah.
And so you have these inconsistencies with what the Upside Down is or isn't, can and can't do, as well as Demogorgons in Vecna. Like there's plot holes and there's inconsistencies that, you know what, we're just going to have to chalk up to it is what it is. I fully understand people being upset
so much of it is, I just said, it is what it is. And the only time that I would yell at my television screen on New Year's Eve, not at any plot holes, not at any very odd dialogue at points, it was when the clock is ticking and they would stop to have a little chat.
Yeah, not great. That was especially true.
It happened several times. But I will give them credit. They might have had and I don't know if we can count this for the Cinemac and Goovy Awards, but it's when Will was talking to Mike, and Will's like, hey, I know kind of sprung that on you in that last episode, but I hope we can still be friends. And Mike's like, friends? Looking around like, you want to be friends with me? How about best friends? Mailman of the year.
Yeah. Goo, the finale, Chapter 8, The Right Side Up, was 128 minutes, 2 hours and 8 minutes. And I do think, to use airplanes in this, this motif that we like to use with finales, I think they landed the plane with a little bit of turbulence, but everyone's safe and sound, and we're getting off the plane.
I think people
and we're still going to fly again.
Turbulence,
we're going to fly again.
I thought they wanted turbulence, though. I think the people watching wanted a little bit, something shaky. This was too safe.
Fair. That's fair. Goo, right now on Rotten Tomatoes, this is at 83% and 55%, which is down 1% each on both meters after Volume 2, which was at 84 and 56. After Volume 1, it was at 84% and 83%. I stress people to not review anything until you've finished it. Please. These numbers should indeed
also,
have been
what
released.
do you people get out of review bombing stuff? I'm going to review bomb it and then people aren't going to see it. Okay. All right, then. All right.
Goo, on Metacritic, a 71. And to remind the people at home why we loved this show, if you've maybe forgotten along the way, or maybe you don't now, is because seasons 1 through 4 were allotted and did really well on both Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic. Goo loves season 1.
Season 1, I'm telling you right now, if we cut it off after 1, remembered as one of the better, tight 8 episodes, what a fun time.
I think season 2 and season 4 are superior, but season 1's up there, too.
Season 2 is a very good season. I think season 4 might be a little over 2. Those are very, very close. Season 3 is the one where I feel the drop, and I feel like maybe we should wrap this up.
Yep, season 3, it felt like they kind of got lost along the way. And this season has some of that vibes for sure, too. I think, I don't know. I don't remember my dog score for season 3, but I was pretty down on it.
I feel like season 3, and I'm also forgetting my dog score for it, maybe low 30s.
Sure.
But I feel like season 3 at least still had some of that 80s fun to it of, we're in the mall. It's just the polish to it, and it looks too good. I want it to feel a little grimy.
Goo, this show series was created by Matt and Ross Duffer, the Duffer brothers.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what their opportunities are like going forward from here.
They're doing more Stranger Things stuff.
More Stranger Things, but I'm interested to see if they venture into another show, maybe movies, who knows. Goo, synopsis for the season. It's November 1987, and the gang is trying to hunt down and kill Vecna after the Upside Down breaches Hawkins, leading to military lockdown and intensifying searches for 11. Meanwhile, Holly Wheeler has become a target. Henry Creel's origins are revealed, and Will's growing connection to the Upside Down becomes crucial. That's essentially what Volume 1 was. Volume 2 was a ton of exposition and a ton of the writers trying to make the audience feel things about the characters. But primarily, we learn about what the Upside Down actually is, a wormhole or a bridge, and what Vecna's plan is. And then we get to Volume 3, this finale, and it's Operation Beanstalk. It's the final battle between Vecna and the whole gang. And should we start spoilers now, or should we wait?
Just very, very quickly, I guess we can do the octagon very, very quickly, spoiler free. 1 word each, 2 word each.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you for not just the finale, do final season, then finale.
Okay. All right.
Almost treat it like its own separate thing.
All right. If you're going to do that, I'm going to run through the actors real quick. Stars, Winona Ryder, Joyce Byers, David Harbour as Jim Hopper, Finn Wolfhard, Mike Wheeler, Millie Bobby Brown as 11, Gaten Matarazzo as Dustin Henderson, Caleb McLaughlin as Lucas Sinclair, Natalia Dyer as Nancy Wheeler, Charlie Heaton as Jonathan Byers, Joe Keery as Steve Harrington, Noah Snap as Will Byers. That's a massive main cast. Then you also have Cara Buono as Karen Wheeler, Sadie Sink as Max Mayfield, Priya Ferguson as Erica Sinclair, Joe Crest as Ted Wheeler, Maya Hawk as Robin Buckley, Brett Gelman as Murray Bauman, Jamie Campbell Bauer as Vecna / Henry Creel, Randy Havens as Mr. Clark, and Linnea Berthelsen as Collie. And then newcomers this season, Nell Fisher as Holly Wheeler, Linda Hamilton as Dr. K, which, by the way, I think she takes over Captain Phasma's claim as the most useless character of all time. Alex Bro is Lieutenant Robert Akers. He was like first in command. And, of course, Jake Conley is Derek Turnbow.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Do you want me to pour one out for the people that died?
Yeah, fuck it. Pour one out. Pour one out.
Dr. Montgomery dies as Max's brother, Billy, in season 3. Matthew Modine goes down in season 4. I forget. It's Dr. Martin Brenner. Paul Reiser as Dr. Sam Owens, disappears. Sean Astin as Bob Newby dies at the end of season 2, and Joseph Quinn as Eddie Munson dies in season 4. And Goo, I think, the loss of Eddie Munson,
Eddie Munster?
Munson. The
little werewolf.
I think that really underscores my main gripe with season 5. There was no emotional moment that lived up to what season 4 did in season 5.
Well, they wanted the Dustin Steve scene to be the emotional, I've already lost Eddie, I can't lose someone else.
All right, go.
Some people are feeling that.
Let's do it.
All right, Gauntlet for the final season and the finale. Fun factor, I thought the finale had a little more of the fun, but I don't think it had enough of the fun that we had the first 4 seasons.
I found fun in episode 4 and in the finale. Everything else was had a purpose. We were moving to the big peak at the end of episode 4 and moving to the peak in the final, hour and a half of this episode. So there was enough fun, but it should have had more.
So I don't find fun in the action of this show. I find fun. Yeah, I find fun in living in the 80s.
I like using the Force.
I like them living in the 80s, going about their life, but then also trying to explain this crazy occurrence that has also happened.
Well, we can't. We're too far past
I
that.
know, but I'm telling you what I like, and I don't really. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Satisfactor. I'm going to give myself credit, and that's why I'm satisfied. You asked me what I wanted at the end of the show during the volume 1, and I jokingly, I said with a serious face, what if we just go ahead in time and we see what they're doing after all this? And we did.
Well, we got an 18-month jump. We
got an 18-month jump.
We didn't get a 20-year jump.
We got 45 minutes of that.
Yeah, that was
We got a long time of that. Not to spoil anything.
And you know what? I kind of liked it. It came around, and I liked it.
I was watching it with my wife, and after, the big battle, my wife said, how much time is left in this show? I said, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Goes,
it's an
what
epilogue.
In the world?
It's an additional episode, essentially.
Yeah, it's a full episode.
I liked it, though. I didn't like it the first 10 minutes, but then by the end, I enjoyed it.
I liked that more than the big battle at the beginning.
Okay. All right. Fair.
And that also wasn't the greatest thing in the world, but satisfactor-wise, closure. Kind of.
Some of the closure was satisfying for me.
Yes.
I was very unsatisfied with our big final battle.
I want to give credit to Parks and Recreation, where they also did this, but they also went through the remaining life of each character until they're pretty much dead.
Yeah.
Credit to them. Borometer, season, yes. Finale, ticks, but not as much because I think we at least knew what we had to do.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. There was a lot of bore in this season, but I was still entertained and gripped by the finale. That's a good point.
Aquaterworld, was this season/finale of television better than the 1995 classic Waterworld? Finale, yes. Season, I don't know.
Wow. Okay. Yes, it was. It was. Both.
Max Credit Union.
This is a hard one. Robin looks like she's 100 years old. The rest of the characters don't get nearly enough screen time. I do think that Mike is probably the best actor out of all the kids on the show. And I did feel a little bit of his emotions in the finale. He's tasked with doing the most, and I felt like he delivered. So I'll give credit to Finn Wolfhard as Mike. And I haven't loved Finn Wolfhard in the past, but I thought he was great.
I think we're just disappointed by him from having such a cool name. And this is what you give us?
But like he's moved to an extreme emotion, obviously, at one point in the finale. And then in the epilogue, he's like subdued and still emotional. I thought his performance was great.
When life says, we need something a little extra. We need to squeeze a little bit in here. How do we make this a delicious treat? Jesse Plemons says, you make Plemonade. You make a nice, tasty treat. Who in this stepped in there for the short amount of time that they had and made this season worthwhile? And I question my choice because he's kind of the star of one episode and then he's used a bit more. So he's like 30th on the billing. That allows me to use him, correct?
Yeah, the only answer here
Derek.
is Jake Conley is Derek
Yes.
Turnbow.
Yes.
An absolute delight.
Absolutely. Suck a fat one. You would think that catchphrase would get old. No. Better
not.
every time.
Yep.
Especially when he then puts a middle finger in there.
Yeah, it's great.
He
It's
also
great.
does something in the finale that I could not stop laughing at. Death is almost all but certain. To stay alive, keep running. Leave me behind. I'm all set.
I like that because it's realistic,
Yeah.
quasi-realistic. Like, not everyone can keep up at a certain
It's the fastest
pace.
kid alive.
They should have had Derek leading the group so they could all go at the same pace, you know?
That's
Pushing
what
them
you
a little
need.
bit.
You need a pacer. When you have a run group, you have people that run certain mileage that go at a certain pace. They needed someone there that was a specialist in like a 15-minute mile. You think Derek's, 15 minutes? Maybe 20.
I don't think he's ever run a mile. We don't know the score.
Mm-hmm. What do you think your mile is right now?
I know what it is. It's probably like 8.5.
8.5 mile right now.
Yeah.
Everyone in the comment section below, challenge Mac to a race.
That's what I do with the treadmill. I run for 30 minutes on the treadmill.
Oh, treadmill's not the same thing.
That's where I'm doing my mile.
If
Wait,
you
you
saw
want me to run up a
Michael
hill?
Vick, if you saw Michael Vick outside of a strip club right now, would you challenge him to a race?
If I had to do more than 1 mile, I'm running at like a 10-minute mile probably.
Okay.
9.5, 10. But
The
if
truth has
if-
come out.
but I'm not running multiple miles. I'm
Okay, so
doing
let me say
2
this.
miles.
So you're saying at 1 mile, you are 8.5 minutes.
Yeah, that's probably
At 3 miles, you're 11 minutes?
probably 10. Yeah.
10?
10. Yeah, I'd say
6
10.
miles.
I'll never do it.
That's
I'll
right.
never do it.
So that cut off right there.
Yeah.
That's it.
I don't think I'll ever run more than 3 in one sitting.
Leave your predictions down below. Leave
And
your
actually
predictions.
now that you challenged me, I would make it a point of getting under 8. I'd probably get like 7:52 if I actually had to be clocked.
I'm going to ask this right now.
Mm-hmm.
You and I are lined up. 1 mile.
Mm-hmm.
Who wins the race?
Probably you. I'm guessing.
All right. Know that I'm the dominant of the two.
What's your mile at?
I haven't ran a mile in a long time. I know when so my wife used to do a run club.
Mhm.
I would do it to impress her. It was
Sure.
early on in the relationship.
Sure.
And I was really good at the 3. So they would do 6 miles or 3 miles.
Mm.
I was really good at doing the 3 miles, and I would just fucking sprint through it. And then I'd realize how tired I was at the end.
Sure.
But as long as you aren't thinking about it, you're all set.
I don't think I've ever run more than 3 miles consecutively, and I never will.
The last time I did a 5K, my foot really, really hurt. Also, last night I sneezed really hard and almost died.
I have trouble when I'm running outside. Speaking of this pacing conversation, I can't pace myself inside. You know what the
I'm
treadmill
so
does
bad
really
at
well?
pacing myself.
The treadmill paces you.
Yeah, I'm so bad at pacing myself. And whenever I see my wife, who has run 4 fucking marathons, I say to myself, I can't do this. There's no way in hell I could ever do this because I don't know how to pace myself.
I wouldn't be able to.
With anything. Anything in life. It could be running. It could be alcohol. It could be.
If I ran a marathon, I would run 1 mile, walk 25.1 of it, and then sprint the final 10th of the last mile.
I don't even know if you could do that. What are we on? What are we doing?
We're at Pants Tent.
Pants Tent City. What was your Pants Tent? What was your most exciting moment from the season and then also the finale?
In the season, clearly it was the final 10 minutes of episode 4 where Vecna.
Yeah, I think the Will stuff was better than the final battle.
Well,
I'll explain myself with the final battle in a second.
Yeah, no, I agree. So you get Vecna coming through, killing the shit out of government people, but not anyone we care about. And then you have Will's massive moment. That was super cool. That was a legit Pants Tent. And then we never got back to that high. In the finale, there's some cool stuff, but it never got as cool as it did in episode 4.
For those of you tardy to the Mac and Goo party, we rate everything on a...
Let me get back to that when we get to spoilers.
On a 40 hot dog rating system, Mac, for the season, I thought it was really up and down. And I don't think I really got fully invested into Volume 1 or Volume 2. I thought it lacked a fun factor that the show has maintained throughout its entire 4 seasons prior to this. It was not there this time. There was one goal that it felt like they were just kicking the can down the road until the finale, to the point of it's almost like you could have made 2 really long episodes this year. You could have taken those first 7 episodes, made it a 2-hour movie, and then taken this final episode, 2-hour movie. That might have been all we needed.
Yeah, it oddly, and we are movie guys, we do favor movies over television. This season certainly would have worked better as one big movie or 2 movies.
It almost felt like they went into this year being like, okay, we have to get to this, and this.
Because they had so many moving parts.
And going through that checklist, I thought was boring. Fair. And some of it felt really, really forced. And the stuff that was supposed to be intimate did not feel intimate because there's 1,000 people around. And I don't think any of the characters got the spotlight that they deserved or that big moment that they deserved. And then sometimes when they did, it made you question, has the writing always been like this? Has the acting always been like this? And I've just never noticed it. For the finale, I think a clean 30, like a C. I don't think it did anything amazing. I don't think it fumbled at the end. I think it did enough to not make people say they Games of Throned it. Game
of Thrones did.
No, I like what I said better.
Game of Throned it.
Games dethroned it. I say 30 on the finale. On the season, though, 26. I think this is, on the whole, its worst season. Maybe because of the final 45 minutes, you still might want to watch that over what season 3 had. But there are some really high highs that this show has given us that I don't want people to forget because of how sour they are about this final season. Like, I really do want to point out that season 1, I think, is a 40 hot dog show. Season 2, 38. Season 4, 30. Like, I think that there's a lot of really good stuff from this show that while the ending wasn't the best, it wasn't the worst.
All right. It's hard to disagree with everything you said. I think that it certainly became a victim of its own success.
Yeah.
Be it with its actors and stars and the bar they set for the show, which, to your point, I think they probably do have like 3 37, 38 dog seasons at
Not
least.
only the bar that they set with the quality and the storytelling of what the first seasons were, but also the delays in how long it took to make the seasons and also how much money it took to make the seasons.
Yeah. I think Volume 1 probably, because it finished spectacularly, got to like 34 dogs for me.
Okay.
Volume 2 was probably just passing 24, maybe like in that low to mid 20s range. The finale, the fight itself was probably a C,
Okay.
like 30.
Good.
But I think the prologue or epilogue, whatever the one comes out, I think it's epilogue.
It's not a flyleaf.
The final 45 minutes in sitting with those characters a little bit more, it brought it up. And I liked the finale in maybe more like the 32 range. So,
I thought sitting with certain characters, though.
Sure.
Some of the characters that we sit with and we find out more about their lives, let's move this along still, because I understand that we're trying to give everyone their due now.
Yeah.
But I care more about these other characters.
Sure.
Let's move.
Because I'm a sucker for finales and finishes and that high I get off of watching a story, and it's bumping it up. It's pulling my feelings for volume 2 are getting lessened because I like the way it finished. So I think I have this at like 30 dogs, maybe a little
The season
more.
30?
The whole season, right around 30. I could argue up to maybe 32 the more I think about it and sit on it. I think it probably is the worst season because of the inconsistency. Like
Clunky.
Season 3 we didn't care for, but that was after 2 nearly 40 dog seasons, and it like that has a sour taste in my mouth. This doesn't, but technically that was probably better because this season's all over.
I'm sure if I went back and watched season 3 now, I would like it more than this season.
Right. So with all that said, I think this could have been worse. This finale in the season could have been much worse.
Max blurb for the DVD cover could have been worse.
And we've seen dozens of shows get to the finale in the final season and absolutely crash land the plane, butcher it. And
so
I don't think they did.
Our blurbs for the DVD cover, Max is could have been worse, and then mine is didn't ruin the whole show like Roseanne.
All right, spoilers.
One second before we get to spoilers. So just in my own personal life, while we eat dinner now as a family, my son demands that we tell jokes the entire time. So I'll either pull up like a joke book or I'll do that just to keep, constant jokes so I'm not thinking of more.
Yeah.
But I did think of one that I thought was really funny and got crickets in the room.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay. I said, what did the cow say to the udders?
I don't know. What?
Meat and cookies. Mind if I get a squeeze?
Is the cow speaking to its own udders?
Don't ask questions. I'm not here. I'm not the Duffer Brothers trying to fill in the blanks of what my story or joke didn't.
Is that top tier torture, being a cow that loves milk, but you don't have thumbs to milk your own udders?
Well, I would say we all like milk.
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Go.
Yes.
Go.
Yeah.
Pants tent moment in the finale that after, the episode's actually over and Mike reveals his theory on what happens with 11. Then it got the cogs turning a bit in my mind. And then I was like, you know what? It is a little bit more layered than I
hamster
gave
got
it credit
the wheel
for.
a moving.
And I like the idea of 11 possibly escaping because of Callie's power.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think it happened? No, because I'm pretty sure we saw Callie die.
I'm not
But
sure if
I
we
like
did.
the idea of that.
Now, I've had this thought in my head, and I don't want to go back and look because I don't care enough to do so. I thought when Hopper walked in on the dead Callie,
Callie, whatever.
Callie, I thought that her blood looked too dry, and I thought that it was an illusion and she was trying to trick him at the time.
Okay.
Once again, I don't care enough about the situation to waste my time and go back and look.
Sure. So, of course, the gang defeats Vecna and the Mind Flayer. We find out the biggest reveal here is that Henry has chosen to be evil.
Because the debate over the years has been who's controlling who.
And it's a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
They're equal parts.
Would it be parasitic?
No, because
they're both benefiting. Sorry.
Yeah. So that massive battle in the Abyss takes place. Pretty underwhelming the way Vecna goes out, just with a couple force pushes.
It's forcing each other back and forth. It wasn't enough action. And then when asked why there weren't Demogorgons, Demodogs, Demobats over there, the Duffer brothers said it was a sneak attack. Vecna didn't know this was coming. Vecna is an all-knowing being, right?
Yeah, that's a terrible excuse. I will say, I think it's pretty easily explained that, like, he has the Demogorgons out and about. And
well,
for him
the
to call
Duffer
them
brothers
back,
then said that they felt like the audience might be demoed out by all these creatures, that they just kind of want to move past that. But
I understand that. It would have been a cool, like, maybe 20-second montage of them smushing a bunch of Demogorgons, or 11 having really sweet Demogorgon kills before they get to Vecna.
So even if they just had it where there were 4 Demogorgons, Demodogs, Demobats, whatever, around Vecna, and 11 walks in and just goes like this and kills them all like,
that
instantly,
been sweet.
then cool, okay.
Yeah, agreed.
I appreciate this because I did not want to see them do this. When 11 said, oh, I can get up there really easy by jumping over these, and they didn't show it, I thought that was their best choice.
I agree with you, because it was no way it was going to look good.
There was no way it was going to look good.
Yeah.
I think that was their best choice.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. I'm a little disappointed that we've gotten 5 seasons and like 50 hours of content, and 11 still just has the same powers. She hasn't really improved.
And also, with all the talk of Dungeons and Dragons D&D, of the strategy that goes into that game and using your weapons, using your powers. By the way, our D&D video will be out soon, actually. It's been cut down to 2 hours. I still want it sliced further. But I thought that the end battle was too much of force pushing and then all the kids just spamming attack. There wasn't any kind of a strategy to what they were doing.
Yeah.
It was just shooting flares, stabbing sacks.
Yeah, and before we get to this final battle, they enact Operation Beanstalk. I liked that. I liked the imagery it gives. I liked using the radio tower to get up into the abyss.
I did yell "fuck you" at my television screen when Steve fell off and he was caught.
You knew it was going to be Jonathan.
No,
too.
I thought it was going to be Dusty.
Oh, no, he doesn't have the forearm strength for that. Good.
Well, that brings me to my next point. So when they're able to jump into Dimension X, all the kids do it without any like inconvenience. They just go right up there, where they're all on the side of the radio tower jumping up with no consequences. One of them should have fallen off and died.
The start of the episode, you have Hopper, Murray, 11, and Callie, trying to go at Vecna in the Upside Down lab.
Yeah.
And then you have Mike, Dustin, Lucas, Steve, Nancy, Jonathan, and Robin fighting the Mind Flayer in the abyss.
Joyce.
So
Joyce, too.
And Joyce
Don't
as
forget
well.
Joyce is there. The entire time, I was saying to my wife, Joyce is going to do something.
Yeah.
We need to wait on Joyce because she's not just going to be there for no reason.
Yeah.
It makes more sense. Really use your brains here, people. Will has already told us that he is strong on his own. He doesn't need the support of his mommy. So there was really no need to have Joyce there with Will. Joyce should have stayed and helped with Max.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but then you don't get the flashback moments when she's chopping Vecna's head off.
No, so that is the reason why when she eventually, because she has an axe.
Yeah, of course.
What's she going to do with the axe? Chop down the fucking tree.
If you were given the opportunity to bring a tool into the abyss, what would you bring? Axe isn't a bad option.
I'd probably want some kind of a gun.
Well, yeah, sure. But
or like a protective force field so nothing can hurt me and I can hide.
So you get also Mike helping in the big moment, right? He goes into Vecna's eyes and, prevents him from doing harm to 11, I suppose. And then of course, you get the finish with Joyce chopping the head off, which I liked the stuff spliced in there while she was chopping.
I didn't.
The chopping was...
I also didn't like that she was the one that chopped the head off. And the Duffers have said after, we felt that she was the mother of the group. You could make that argument maybe in season 1. She was still off on her own so much of that season. And since, she's been more away from the kids and with Hopper than anything else.
I was more upset with Vecna just getting impaled with a simple force push. I didn't the head chop I was okay with, because at that point we're like, all right, Joyce needs her moment.
I would almost rather maybe Dustin needed it more, but Dustin got the speech at the end.
Yeah.
Not even chopping off the head, just shoot it in the head with the flare gun.
So, all right, well, that was fine enough, right? I didn't love it. It wasn't great, but it was fine enough, good enough. what really is at issue here is Callie gets killed by the government, or so we think. I mean, ultimately, the whole Upside Down collapses. So she's dead for sure now. But was she alive that extra 30 minutes or an hour to cast that projection, Luke Skywalker style, to help 11 escape?
I think it's a
feasible?
possibility. I think it's
I think
possible,
it's feasible. Yeah.
It's also like I had my attitude this whole episode. I guess it's this whole podcast too, of I don't care enough about it to think.
So here's what I take issue with, though, is in that moment before 11 disappears like Obi-Wan Kenobi, she uses her powers to speak to Mike in her mind or his mind, which she would not have been able to do with those little sonar things right there at the gate. So she is either further away or, there's an inconsistency there in a big moment.
Yeah.
So it's bothersome. So then we get to this epilogue and Mike is, positing this, thinking that 11 actually escaped because he notices the blip on the speakers, which makes him think back to that moment. And he knows that it wouldn't have been possible for Elle to use her powers there. But she still had that conversation with him in his head. So it's confusing. It's very confusing.
I do, and this was a me thing, is how they tried to make each character look older, the 18-month jump? For some reason, when they cut to Mike and he was on the typewriter, in my head, I saw a white streak in his hair, and I couldn't stop laughing. Just the thought of them being like, let's make, we had a really tough time making them look like teenagers.
Yeah.
Now let's make him look like he's 50.
I did really like when he's telling the story of the mage or whatever her character type was in D&D, how they're splicing it in with her walking,
Now, the reason why I think it might be true, the entire time, Elle and Mike would talk about a land with 3 waterfalls.
Mm-hmm.
The land that she goes to has 2 waterfalls. If it was Mike telling the story and we're not sure if it's real, there would have been 3 waterfalls. The fact there was only 2 waterfalls, Elle's alive.
I just figured the third was in front of her. You see 2, but there might be a third directly below her.
She's dead. She's fucking dead.
But it's purposefully ambiguous so that the viewer can have their own experience with it. Elsewhere in Hawkins, we see the military is gone. The
Let's
town
talk
is
about the military real
rebuilding
quick.
and recovering.
Okay, so Hopper kills, 2 dozen?
A lot.
A lot.
Folks. Yeah.
And what is the punishment? New job, 20% raise.
Sheriff again. Dr. K, to cast Linda Hamilton as Dr. K is a choice, number
It's a
one.
stunt casting, but yeah. It's a
number
scam.
2, to give her nothing to do the whole season while she's chewing up the screen was just a terrible combination. It was a poorly written character. It was poorly acted. The character was fucking terrible, Goo.
So if Hopper was talking to Joyce when they were getting engaged, if he said, wow, it was really nice of Murray to take the rap for me and say that he killed all those people and Murray's in jail now.
Sure. Murray might not hate jail either.
Murray, he might thrive in jail. For all we know.
We see there's been a memorial built like in the center of town where it all split open. Max and Lucas are together. Like you said, Hopper and Joyce are now engaged. Dustin becomes the valedictorian of their graduating class.
And he pretty much gives the speech that Eddie was telling him, when I graduate, I'm going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And also, what I liked about that, and this is some of the fun factor that I feel like the entire season has missed. That felt like so many 80s movies where just the lack of respect for a principal or a teacher, and all the kids are like, this guy doesn't know fun. And the way that Dustin spoke about the principal, loved it.
It was good. It was good. And to your point, the final 40, 45 minutes does feel more like the rest of the show than the whole season did. You have Steve is now a sex ed teacher and baseball coach. You know, we get the backstory.
You can almost afford a house as a baseball coach.
of which I guess you could in the 80s. We're dealing with the older kids now. So Steve,
we need more trickle-down economics.
Nancy's still
we got
a
to bring it back.
journalist.
Reaganomics.
Nancy's becoming a journalist. Jonathan's at NYU Film School.
Nancy has dropped out of Emerson, And now she is working with Howie Carr at the Herald?
Who knows? Who knows? And then Goo, I
You
thought,
forgot Robin.
yeah, she's still. She's
Robin has a
fill-in
weird
DJ?
uncle that they're all going to hang out at.
Goo, what I thought was really cool was the 2 shots in the final scene of the kids putting their D&D character books in the bookshelf and us looking through the bookshelf one by one, and then them going up the stairs and that up and down.
That
the
is going to
staircase.
be some
I loved it.
soggy lasagna.
I loved it.
They
I
are
loved that.
crying their eyes out. Those tears are going to they're going to start to puddle right on top of that cheese.
I would be curious as to when they shot that scene. I hope it was the last thing
You know
they
what?
shot.
I kind of want lasagna now. I'm curious what Karen Wheeler's lasagna is like.
Oh, I'd like to taste anything Karen Wheeler would.
Even
tell
now?
me. Yeah.
Karen Wheeler, once again, should have died several times. I thought it would have been funny, too, if at the graduation, when they're showing the rest of the family and everyone being proud of the kids that are now graduating, if after Karen, they just nonchalantly said, yeah, the dad died. What are you going to do?
Goo, screen fades to
Do
black.
you remember the series finale of the Wonder Years?
I sure don't.
Okay, so in that, they're at a parade, and they're slowly going across Kevin's family, and they're saying, oh, Wayne went on to do this, the sister went on to do this, the mother this. And then it gets to the father, and it says, Dad died of a heart attack. Just very small at the bottom of the screen. Whatever. Not like he was a great dad during this show.
Yeah.
Fuck him, he's dead. What kind of disrespect was that?
It's a great point, Goo. Great point made by you.
Having said that, they should have done that on Stranger Things.
So the screen fades to black, and as it fades to black, we hear Holly, Derek, and that group of friends in the Wheeler basement starting their own D&D campaign, echoing what happened in season 1, of course, and what really has taken place over this whole season. So I thought they did a nice job putting the bow on the package here. The package, maybe we didn't care for the gift, but the bow was nice. Well,
Packages inside
well
the box.
wrapped,
It's
well
a little
tied.
stinky. It's a little stinky in there.
So I didn't regret watching it, and I'm not mad. So in the pantheon of season finales, series finales, it's not at the top, it's not in the bottom, it's probably smack dab in the middle.
It's not a Blue Bugle.
Squeezed in the middle, smack dab in the middle.
So, as we've talked about a little bit here, the Duffer Brothers have been talking with many of medias, explaining things, defending, backpedaling. I wish that they would have waited a month or so to really let this sit in with people and not just look at, yes, people on the internet hate stuff. We talked pretty poorly about this too. That's what people do.
Yeah.
If you are a creative type, just know that you're better than us.
It's much easier to complain than it is to praise. And people are dumb and
we
stupid.
did, while very short, we did praise the other seasons.
For sure. And I don't think we reviewed season 1, but the other 3 seasons we did review. And we're plenty of praise to go around in there. And even here, it's not easy. This is why people have a hard time writing papers, Goo, because they don't know how to wrap the paper up. They don't know how to wrap the story up.
I don't know how to start a paper.
It's not easy.
The body also difficult for me
to
too.
write a finale, to finish everything up. And so in that respect, some credit is due to them for giving us a palate. Like it was not that bad to digest. They didn't give us food poisoning. I'm okay with it.
Okay, so we do have some details here for the live action Stranger Things spinoff. We also know that there is going to be an animated series that comes out this year, 2026 actually, and it is set between seasons 2 and 3. None of the cast is in there as voice actors. Whatever.
Yeah.
If I watch, I watch. We'll see.
Sure.
But the spinoff, the live action spinoff, does not involve the Upside Down. Good.
I'm pretty convinced it's going to be about government stuff in the 50s or 60s.
I don't want that.
I think it's going to be like what Henry's grandfather, like that sort of shit. Like, I think we're going to be going back in time.
the main thing
Because
is The Rock. It's The Rock that they want to talk about.
Yeah. So I think we'll, maybe that sort of stuff. And Goo, it gives them an excuse to do another period piece, right? People love that shit. So I think you're going to see a show set in like the 50s or the 60s.
Completely different story, location, characters, and actors.
Yep. And if you're doing government stuff, you can set it wherever. You know?
So really squashing the idea that I had of Holly being maybe the main star of the next one. Other people have said Hopper. You move Hopper. He's moving at the end of this. You follow Hopper and Joyce. I'm okay with that. I think Hopper should have died many of seasons ago. That would have given some stakes.
Tried to kill himself at the end of 3 seasons, and then he lets his second daughter die.
Let's see here. The Duffer Brothers will remain heavily involved, but will not be showrunners on the next one. And let's see here. It's very different, but it's also very Stranger Things.
Here's a suggestion for the folks at Netflix. Next time you pay people millions of dollars to create a show that's this popular, and they make a stage play integral to the series.
Well, they mentioned
put it on your platform so we can watch it.
They also mentioned, and they realized that Hopper and Joyce would have gone to school with Henry Vecna.
Yeah,
but they had that conversation off screen, not to confuse people.
I still don't know if they even knew it was Henry Creel. You know, who knows?
Let's get into Mac-Sack.
And Mac-Sack could be anything. It could be a boat. And Mac, the people out there are buzzing. They're all talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Commercials.
Okay.
Yes, there are more commercials during Mac and Goo. Is it a problem? No. I think they're great.
I haven't noticed anything. Goo's been talking about this for a while. I didn't even know it was really a problem because I consume this and many other podcasts via YouTube. I like the video element.
So
no ads on YouTube.
You might have noticed not only in this one, but in some of your other favorite podcasts that, there's more commercials, more ads. But gotta pay the bills. And when I say that, I mean, we don't see any of that.
Straight to the top.
It's Reaganomics. We're expecting the trickle down soon.
Yeah.
So, Mac, I will say this, is we have some upcoming podcasts. Now that we are in the new year, we usually know what we're doing in January. It's the run over of the great movies that we get that are award movies. The one that we're going to talk about on Monday, the one that I think was, how do you describe this? It's not a palate cleanser. It's you go from watching Stranger Things, something that you're watching and saying, I don't know how much I care about this, to then watching a movie that sucks you in and you feel like you're a part of this world and you're buying into everything and you're loving everything. Marty Supreme.
Yeah, I'm glad you finally were able to catch it. I'm excited to talk about it because it is a great movie. But I think it's been instantly overrated by a lot of people.
Do you think I just did that?
I think you would have a hard time telling me it's better than Uncut Gems.
So I like Uncut Gems more.
Agreed.
Because I think the payoff on the tension might be better.
Way better.
That's really what helps Uncut Gems is the final scene.
Yes. This
also has a good final scene.
A fitting one.
Yes.
A fitting one.
And it's also something that you were waiting for.
As exciting.
It's something that you're waiting for the entire movie, and then you finally get it. I do like that. But I think the payoff to Uncut Gems and the tension that you have there is something that I really have not felt in other movies.
No, I agree with you there. And don't get me wrong, Timothée Chalamet is great in this movie. I don't think he's the best performance in the movie, Gil.
I think he is.
Love interest, I think her name is Odessa.
She's also great.
She's unbelievable. She should be getting more talk for award season than she's getting. Chalamet may very well win Best Actor.
Look, we'll talk about...
And you know what? It's unfortunate because Leo's great in one battle after another, and one of these two has to lose. But she is not getting her due justice.
I thought she was great, and we'll talk about this more on Goose Day. I think that what he does in this movie, where he is in it from tip to tail, every scene, and he controls every single scene with this amazing pacing that he has. It's, to me, how we talked about Cillian Murphy in Oppenheimer, how we talk about Ray Liotta in Goodfellas, where he is the pulse of this movie.
Agreed. But how does this happen? And he's been the front runner for Best Actor for 3 months before the movie even came out. And Adam Sandler doesn't even get nominated for Uncut Gems.
We all agree that Sandler's great.
Like Sandler,
But
Sandler's doing what Chalamet's doing.
We can't hold it against Chalamet for
I'm
what
not
Sandler
holding it.
Yes,
I'm
you
mad
are.
at the people. I'm
You've
mad
been
at the
saying
people.
this entire episode, even during Stranger Things, out of nowhere, Chalamet fucking sucks.
Justice for Sandler. Justice for Sandler. To not nominate Sandler and to praise Chalamet the way that people are doing, to me, is insane.
All right, so after Marty Supreme, we have a lot to talk about. After Marty Supreme, and this is in no exact order, and there might be some news dumps sprinkled in as well, we have to talk about Pluribus. I have not yet seen it, but I am going to see it soon. I know you've seen it.
Oh, yeah. This
Thumbs
is my
up.
time to talk.
Okay.
Yes, I had to remind myself with Pluribus that it is the setup for a series. I think we get so used to having grand finales and expecting grand finales that sometimes you forget this is just like the first few chapters of a long story. And so I had to remind myself of that at the end of Pluribus.
Top 10 most anticipated movies of 2026. We'll have that shortly in this month. Also, by the end of the month, early February, we'll have the Cinemac and Goovy Awards / the Mac and Goovy Vault.
Yeah, you also need to put out some polls.
I
in
need
the
to
next
poll the
week
people.
or so we can figure out who won the 2025 Mac and Goo movie auction draft.
Because by the end of February, we need to have that draft. Usually we like to have it out before March. What's the first big movie to come out this year?
I forget. 28 years later, the second
The
one.
Boneyard.
Boneyard's coming out in like 2 weeks, so that'll
All
get
right, so we're not
missed,
going to have
so,
that on there then.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll have to look that
well,
up.
we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
All right, Mac, where can the folks find us?
You can find us on X and on Instagram at Mac and Goo Podcast. Every other platform is Mac & Goo. That includes Facebook, Spreak. I already fucked it up. Wherever you want us, Google us, we're there. Mac & Goo.
Wherever you want
Mac
us,
Shift 7 Goo.
we'll be there.
Get on Apple Podcasts, rate,
We'll
review,
be
subscribe,
around.
5 stars. If you do that in an alternate timeline, you get a Mac and Goo t-shirt from the folks over at Watertown Sportswear. That's Watertown Sportswear, 34 Mount Auburn Street in Watertown. WatertownSportswear.com. Expert screen printing and embroidery.
tpublic.com. Merch. Check us out at the top of next week. This is coming out late, and I'm not even sure when this is coming out. But when it's out, you can enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Tuesdays are Goose Days. I abuse kangaroos. Tim Burton.
Bye.
Please flip the cassette over to side B to continue the adventure.
Now it's time for girls jumping on trimbopolines.